In a quiet village surrounded by golden cornfields, lived an old man named Hassan. His back was bent with age, his hair white like cotton, and his hands trembled slightly whenever he walked with the help of his wooden stick. Hassan had spent his entire life working, first as a farmer, then as a small grain trader. People in the village knew him for one thing more than anything else: his habit of saving money. Hassan saved everything. He saved coins in old jars buried under the floor. He saved notes inside torn cloth wrapped carefully in metal boxes. He saved food by eating less. He saved clothes by wearing the same robe for years. He even saved words, speaking little and trusting no one. Money is safety, he always said. Money is power. Money is life. But Hassan was also known as the loneliest man in the village. Not far from his small mud house lived a young man named Ali. Ali was in his early 20s, strong and hardworking, but poor. His father had died years ago, leaving behind debt and a tiny piece of land that barely grew enough crops to survive. Ali worked in the fields all day, sometimes for food, sometimes for a few coins. Unlike Hassan, Ali believed in living with hope. Whenever Ali earned a little money, he spent some of it on his sick mother, some on seeds for the next season, and sometimes, just sometimes, on simple joys like fresh bread or sweets for village children. "You should save more," people warned him. Ali would smile and reply, "I save enough to live tomorrow. But today also needs to be lived." One afternoon, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky orange, Ali was walking back from the fields holding a small jar filled with corn grains, his payment for the day. On the dirt road beside the tall crops, he saw Hassan standing, breathing heavily, his stick sunk in the soft soil. "Uncle Hassan, are you all right?" Ali asked, rushing to his side. Hassan looked tired, sweat dripping from his forehead. "These legs are no longer mine," he muttered. "Age has stolen them." Ali gently helped him sit on a stone near the field. As Hassan caught his breath, his eyes fell on the jar in Ali's hands. "What's that?" Hassan asked. "Corn grains," Ali replied. "I earned them today." Hassan frowned. "Grains? Why didn't you ask for money?" Ali shrugged. "Grains will feed my mother tonight. Money can wait." Hassan shook his head. "You young people don't understand. You must save money. One day, when trouble comes, grains won't help you." Ali looked at the old man calmly. "Uncle, trouble comes every day. Hunger comes every night. If I save everything for tomorrow, what will I eat today?" Hassan had no answer. That evening, as Hassan walked back home slowly, Ali's words followed him like shadows. Still, he brushed them aside. "Foolish boy," he thought. "He'll regret it one day." Years passed. Ali married, had children, and worked harder than ever. Life was not easy, but his home was full of laughter. Even when money was short, there was warmth, sharing, and trust. Hassan, on the other hand, grew older and weaker. His savings grew, but his world shrank. He rarely left his house. He trusted no one. He feared thieves, relatives, and even neighbors. One winter night, Hassan fell seriously ill. His chest burned with pain, and his breathing became shallow. He tried to stand, but his legs failed him. He lay on the cold floor, surrounded by his hidden wealth, yet completely helpless. "Help," he whispered, but no one heard. After hours of suffering, he somehow dragged himself to the door and knocked weakly. The sound was faint, but Ali, passing by on his way home, heard it. He rushed inside and found Hassan pale and shaking. "Uncle Hassan, why didn't you call someone earlier?" Ali said, panicking. Hassan tried to speak but collapsed. Ali carried the old man on his back through the cold night to the village doctor. He paid the doctor with borrowed money and stayed by Hassan's side until morning. When Hassan woke up, he saw Ali sitting near his bed, eyes tired but caring. You saved me," Hassan whispered. Ali smiled softly. "No, uncle, life saved you. I just helped." Tears rolled down Hassan's wrinkled face, something the villagers had never seen before. Days later, as Hassan recovered, he asked Ali to help him walk to his house. Inside, Hassan showed Ali the hidden jars, boxes, and bundles of money. "All my life," Hassan said, voice trembling, "I saved this. I thought it would save me one day." Ali looked around quietly. "But when I was dying," Hassan continued, None of this stood up to carry me. None of this called the doctor. You did. Ali remained silent. Hassan took a deep breath. I was rich, but poor in life. That day, Hassan made a decision that shocked the village. He sold his stored grain, opened his locked boxes, and used his money, not to buy luxury, but to help. He paid village debts, helped widows, supported children's education, and repaired broken wells. People began to visit him, not for money, but for advice, stories, and company. Hassan's house filled with voices for the first time. One evening, sitting again near the same cornfield, Hassan turned to Ali and said, I misunderstood saving. Ali looked at him curiously. I thought saving money meant protecting life, Hassan said. But I learned too late that money saved without purpose only saves loneliness. He placed his hand on Ali's shoulder. Saving is important, but saving everything, time, kindness, help, destroys the soul. Ali smiled. Money should be a tool, uncle, not a cage. Hassan laughed softly. I wish I had learned that earlier. When Hassan passed away years later, he did not leave behind fear or buried coins. He left behind schools, wells, fed families, and stories. The villagers remembered him not as a miser, but as a man who finally learned how to live. And Ali taught his children the same lesson Hassan learned at the end. Save for tomorrow, but don't starve today. Plan for the future, but don't forget the present. Money should serve life, not replace it.